Well, hey there, everyone. Happy Monday. It's, of course, Memorial Day here in the US. An incredibly important day. And I forgot it was Memorial Day when I scheduled this live today. So I don't know if we're going to get anyone live today, but that's okay. I'm still here and I'm still going to do this live on this really important topic that actually came up a few weeks ago with a client of mine, and I thought it would be a great topic to bring here for all of you. So the topic today is when making money feels hard in your business. Now, if you are here live, let me know in the comments. I would love to know who's watching and what your business is, and just, welcome to all of you. So this topic is one that is very near and dear to my heart because I've gone through a lot of different moments or times in my business where making money has felt really, really hard. And I never would have said that I was the kind of person who struggled with mindset. I'm very much like an action taker, a go-getter, just get it done. But I have noticed that, in running my own business, that I have had times where the mindset stuff really does get me down. And I've had moments where I said, this feels really hard. Making money is really hard. And so when a client said this to me a couple of weeks ago, she said, making money just feels really hard in my business. It hit me in the gut. I totally got that feeling. And I thought it would be something great to come talk to all of you about today. So you may notice that I am not in my studio today. I'm actually in my office, kind of because I was feeling a little lazy today. I see someone watching, but I can't tell who you are because if you click right above me in authorized StreamYard permission, I can see who you are. So when I'm in my studio, normally I've got my phone and my iPad and everything set up, and I can see all of my different, where I'm streaming everywhere so that I can see who's watching me. But since I'm here in my office today, I don't have all of that set up. So I can't see who you are, but welcome and thanks for joining me live. So yeah, the topic today is when making money feels hard in your business. And I wanted to share with you just a few takeaways for how I overcome this feeling. Because these are lessons that I've learned the hard way. And hopefully you don't have to learn them the hard way too. And so that's why I wanted to share my wisdom, my learned experience with you. So the first thing the first lesson I want to pop up here is to get simple in your business. This is one that I will be honest, I'm still learning every day. And it's one that I only really started to understand in the last maybe 6 months. So every December, as we come up on a new year, I start to, look back over the last year of my business and reevaluate what's working, what's not, what do I want to do in the next year. And last December 2019, this was a really big takeaway for me because as I sat down and I looked at everything I was doing, I realized that it was way too complicated. And it actually came up because my content manager at the time decided to move on. She was changing the format of her business and it just didn't make sense for us to work together anymore, which was really tough for me because she still is a good friend. And she provided a lot of value in my business. But what it did was it made me step back and say, was everything she was doing really important in the business? And it wasn't just stuff that she was doing that then led to everything that I was doing and everything that my VA was doing. And so I really sat there and I said, does all of this matter? And, what I realized was it really doesn't. There are only really a couple of things in my business that actually drive my business forward. The rest of it is just stuff I do because I feel like I have to, or sometimes because I enjoy it, but usually it's because I feel like I have to. So whether it's posting in a bunch of different social media platforms or doing, SEO and doing Pinterest and doing YouTube and doing all of these different things, I sat back and I said, this is way too much. So I pulled it really, really far back. And I said, you know what, in 2020, I'm only going to focus on the absolute basics. And if you caught my live from maybe last week, I think it was, I talked a little bit about my method of one. So this is where, and I always forget the four, I usually have them written down in my studio. But the method of one, which is you have one offer, one ideal client avatar, so one person that you're speaking to, one platform that you're selling on, and one piece of core weekly content. And you focus on those 4 simple things. So one offer, my main offer is my course, Biz Money Blueprint. Now, this doesn't mean I don't have other stuff. Every once in a while, I'll do a workshop or I do one-on-one coaching, but my main offer is Biz Money Blueprint. And so if I wake up, tomorrow and I say, okay, I want to make $1,000 today, the first thing I'm going to be focused on is Biz Money Blueprint. And what can I do? And really, regardless of the day, I'm going to be focused on what can I do to make sure that that's where I'm putting my time and my energy. So one offer. The second is one ideal client avatar. So this is who you're showing up for, who you're speaking to, who your work is best for. Now, this does not mean that every single one of my clients is exactly the same. I've had clients who are product-based business owners. I've had clients who are service-based business owners, women, men, younger, older. So they do differ. But when I create my content, when I show up and I do lives like this, or I'm speaking to people, or I'm teaching workshops, or I'm creating my course, I am creating it with one person in mind. It's funny, I'll actually show you. I wasn't going to do this, but somebody asked me about this the other day. So let me see if I can pull this up. Somebody asked me, okay, well, what does that look like? Like when you say one ideal client, what does that actually look like? I've been in very much like a behind the scenes mood this week, because earlier this week in the Facebook group, Badass Moneymakers, if you're not in it, you should definitely join megkwheeler.com/group. Earlier this week, I shared a little video of me showing how I do my social media for every month. And that came about because someone had asked the question and I was like, let me just show you what I do. But what I also thought I would do is show you, because this has come up a couple of times recently as well, is show you how I set up my ideal client avatar. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm making a hot mess of this. So hold on. I want to show you this because I think that this might be helpful for some folks who say, well, I don't really understand like what that means or how to think about that. Now, I will tell you, a good friend of mine, Bobby Klink, who's also an online entrepreneur, his big thing is that he does not want, like, he doesn't care what they look like. He doesn't want to sit there and create this fictional person, and what they wear and what they look like and what they eat and all of that. Like, he just doesn't really want to get into any of that. And he doesn't think any of that really matters. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that he's wrong. But for me, having an image in my head of who this person is really helpful, because then when I am creating content, I'm picturing this person. So I want to show you this. Hold on. I should have had this up, but I wasn't even thinking that I was going to show you this. So let me pull this over. The upside of being in my office, not my studio, is that I can very easily, very easily share stuff, right? Because I have my like huge monitor up here. So hold on. Oh my gosh, where is this? Application window. This is what we want. Okay, cool. So this, we're going to skip past some stuff because some of the stuff doesn't matter for what we're talking about today. But I have 2 ICAs, 2 ideal client avatars. Let me make this a little bit bigger so y'all can see. So my first one is my ICA for my course, Biz Money Blueprint. I actually, you know what? I don't know where the photo went. Oh no, the photos aren't in here. I had a picture in here. That's actually kind of sad. Hold on, I want to find the photo because I feel like the photo is half the battle, right? That's so weird. I don't know why the photos got deleted. Oh, you just never know. Technology. Oh, here it is. I got it. Hold on. Take that down. I pulled up an older draft. Kind of a hot mess today. That's okay. All right, let's do this again. We're going to share the screen again. So again, I find this helpful because for me, this gives me a person to picture in my mind. Now, if you're like my friend Bobby, you don't need to do this if it's not helpful for you. But my very first ICA is Morgan, and Morgan is the perfect client for my course, Biz Money Blueprint. So this is my picture of Morgan. I have no clue who this person actually is. I would be embarrassed if like one day this person figured out that she was my picture and was like, oh, I'm your Morgan. But this is my Morgan. And so I have this description of her. So I say Morgan is a single 28-year-old graphic designer in the early days of her business. After college, she worked for a few years in a corporate firm before being laid off. Despite this putting a pinch on her finances, it was a blessing in disguise because she was miserable sitting in a cubicle all day. After a few months of taking on side jobs, Morgan realized she wanted to work for herself and has started to build her business. She has a few clients, but she's still in the early phases, so she doesn't have contracts in place. Her website is bare bones, and she's getting paid through PayPal or Venmo. She's trying to, which if you have followed me, you know is a big, big no-no. She's trying to track her expenses in Excel and keeps hearing about this quarterly tax thing, but doesn't know if it applies to her. She's starting to make some money, but not enough to where she feels confident investing back into her business, let alone hiring an accountant. Morgan is worried that she's not doing things correctly when it comes to the money in her business. Her uncle is a CPA and keeps telling her that she needs to get the business stuff in order, but she doesn't really know what that means. And besides, she's not a numbers person, so she generally avoids any talk of revenues or profits or taxes. But she's starting to feel stressed that she doesn't know what taxes she has to pay, isn't sure how to track her money, and feels like every time she gets paid, the cash comes in and goes right out. So that's my ICA. That's Morgan. That is the perfect client for my course. Now, does this mean that if your name isn't Morgan or you're not a 28-year-old single graphic designer, you can't buy my course and get a lot out of it? Absolutely not. This just helps me every time. Hold on, I got to adjust without hitting the dog who's sitting behind me. Every time I create content, every time I go live with the intention of talking about something that's related to my course, every time I talk about my course or create a sales page for my course or anything like that, I'm thinking about Morgan because it gives me a visualization of who it is that I created this course for and who it is that I'm speaking to. So when we're talking about getting simple, let me pull this back off for a second so you can see me. When we're talking about getting simple, you want to think about who is that one ICA. Now, I told you I happen to have 2 ICAs. So I'm not going to go into it, but I'll just show you. Well, maybe I will, because maybe this is helpful. So I'll have this back up here. So I also have, so in my business, if you follow me for a while, you know that I talk about building a financially fit business in 3 phases. The first phase, setting up the money stuff in your business. The second phase, managing the money stuff in your business. The third phase, building a scalable and profitable business. So in my second phase, my ICA is a little bit different. Now, it could be Morgan a couple years from now, but I've created a whole new person. And this is her. So this is Amelia. So there's my pretty picture of Amelia. Again, some random girl I don't know. But Amelia is a 32-year-old single woman living in downtown Boston, runs her own digital and social media management company. She's been in business for 2 years, quit her job in corporate. She has a good handle on the money stuff. She's got a bookkeeper, she's got a CPA, she's got an accounting system, pays her quarterly taxes on time, has some money saved, but not enough to keep her afloat for more than a month. She pays herself consistently, but feels like she's always working hard for every dollar and there's no room for error. As she's starting to grow her team, she wants to step into more of a CEO role and do a better job managing her cash flow to be able to increase her payroll, and also wants to better understand profit projections so that she can scale her business beyond where it's stuck now. So this is my, and sorry, I just realized that's blocking so you can't see, but this is my second ICA. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, well, wait a second, you just told me you have 1 ICA. I started with 1 ICA. Have 1 ICA until you figure it out, until whatever your offer is, your one offer for that ICA is working like gold. Then you can build on if you want, okay? But start with 1 offer, 1 ICA, 1 platform to sell. So for me, Facebook is where I do that. Now, it doesn't mean I don't have an Instagram account. It doesn't, I sort of have a Twitter account, but not really for my business. So it doesn't mean I don't have an Instagram account, but I have focused my time and energy on Facebook. That's where I show up pretty much every single day. That's where I do the majority of my selling. I do still post stuff on Instagram, but I will tell you the last month with everything that's been going on with COVID and my son being home and not being able to do as much work in my business, I think I've posted once on Instagram. And you know what? That's okay. 6 months ago, that would have completely stressed me out. I would have been freaking out, feeling like my business was going to fail. But now that's okay because even though I have followers on Instagram, I mean, my account's not that bad. I think I'm like at 2,700. So it's not huge, but it's not bad. I've got followers. I do go over there and interact with folks and engage with folks. And every once in a while, I will get clients from Instagram, but it's not my primary platform for showing up in my business. And so if I can't show up there, I just don't have time, whatever, I'm not stressing about it. Facebook is where I run my business. It's where I'm showing up. Now, you can choose whichever platform works best for you. It doesn't have to be Facebook. And then the last one is one type of core weekly content. So for me, that's these videos, these live videos. So I show up here on Facebook and I do this live video on my business page. I also stream it into my group. So if you're a member of Badass Moneymakers, you may be watching me here now. And I also stream it to my YouTube platform. Now, I want to be clear. Remember I said one platform. I'm not trying to build a massive YouTube channel. So I'm not focusing my time and energy over there on trying to get everything great. I stream there because I can, and it gives me a way to have my content live somewhere outside of Facebook. I also then embed that onto my website. But I'm not focused over there because it's not the platform where I'm trying to build my audience. It's not the platform where I'm selling. Facebook is. But this is my core piece of weekly content. So every week, I do a live video on social media on some kind of a topic related to my business. And it's public content. It's publicly accessible content. I also on Wednesdays do a Q&A session within my Facebook group only. So I don't do that. I have the last few weeks, but typically I don't do that on my Facebook page. I don't do that on my YouTube channel. And in fact, moving forward, that is definitely going to be only in my Facebook group, Badass Moneymakers. So if you want to check that out, you need to become a member of Badass Moneymakers, which is completely free. But that's my one core piece of content. I'm not also writing a blog or doing a podcast or anything else or creating separate videos. And in fact, to the point of getting simple, when I went through this realization in December 2019, I actually decided that I would do a weekly video that we would then put on YouTube. We'd kind of been doing it for about a month then. A few months ago, I said, this is crazy. Why am I creating an entirely separate video when I'm already going live once a week on my page with teaching content, with valuable content for all of you? Why am I then creating something else that I have to do my hair and my makeup and we do slides and we make it all pretty. We write out a script and I go in my studio and I record it. That's crazy. Why am I going to all of that effort and creating all that extra work when I'm already creating valuable content here that I can share with all of you, that I'm already sharing with all of you? So keeping it simple, getting simple. So when making money in your business feels hard, focus on how to simplify. That's the first thing. I see a bunch of folks watching live, so welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here. Let me know that you're here in the comments. And also if you have questions, drop them in the comments. So let's pull that banner away. The next lesson tip I want to share with you is, let's do this one. I have 3, but we'll do this one next because we kind of already talked about this, is are you trying to be too many things to too many people? I feel like this is like one of those like drinking games where it's like, she's about to say niche, everybody take a drink. But it really is true, as cliche as it sounds and as sort of annoying as it sounds because everybody talks about it. If you haven't figured out how to niche down in your business, you need to keep trying. And I also want to be clear. I think over time, you continue to niche more and more and more and more and more. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some point at which you're like, okay, I'm done. But I don't know that this is a process where you just decide, okay, I'm niching down, here's who I'm niching down to, and I'm done. Over the last two years, as my business has evolved, I've continued to niche down. And I continue to do it and continue to do it and continue to do it. And I will tell you, the more I do it, the easier it becomes to create the content that I'm talking about, the easier it becomes to know exactly who I'm speaking to. So for me, where I'm at in my niching process is I serve coaches, service-based creatives, and online business owners. Now that's still a really broad group. That's still pretty broad, right? I have a few more components added into that I'm not going to bore you with right now. But I know that there's still more room for me to niche within that. But what I can tell you is when I first started out and I said, I serve business owners, that was a really big group. I was trying to be too many things to too many people. And I also hadn't really figured out exactly how I served business owners. Part of me was like, well, I can do like accounting and tax stuff, or I can teach about starting a business and taking a leap of faith and quitting your job. I can also teach about like how to take action and mindset stuff and project management and organization. Like I was all over the place. I was all over the place with what I offered, and I was all over the place with who I served. And so the more I've been able to hone in both of those, the easier it's been to show up for my people, because I know exactly who I'm showing up for. Morgan and Amelia, I know them really well. They're my peeps. That is who I speak to whenever I create something. Okay, so are you trying to be too many things to too many people? And here's the thing, if making money feels really hard in your business, I'm guessing this is one of the reasons why, but I also know that if that is the case, it feels really scary to let go of something. Like if I niche down too much, I'm giving up on sales. But let me say this, you will always be giving up on sales. There is no way that you will ever sell to every single person who could possibly buy from you. It's not feasible. There's always going to be somebody that with a little bit more coaxing or a little bit of a lower price or a little bit more whatever, maybe they would buy from you. But what's important for you to recognize is put your time and your money and your energy into the sales that are easy, into the people that are a no-brainer. Yes, I want to work with you. Because those are the ones that are not only going to be easier to get the sale, but are going to be more worthwhile working with. They're going to be better community members. They're going to give you better testimonials. They're going to be excited about you. They're going to go out there and champion you. Those are the people I want to work for. Those are the people that I am excited to show up for every day. So, yeah, I could there are probably plenty of people in the world that I could convince to buy my course. If I like really worked hard at it and did a lot more, maybe I'd eventually get them to say yes. But is that effort really worth it? No, because they're not the right people for me. So when you let go of this fear of not having enough people to sell to, it actually becomes a lot easier to sell to the right people. It's the sort of classic saying, when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And I think that is so true. Again, go back to the ICA stuff I showed you. When I show up, I know I'm speaking to Morgan and Amelia. Those are the two women that I am speaking to. Now, my message might resonate with you if you aren't necessarily like Morgan and Amelia. My message may still resonate with you. So it doesn't mean that what I'm saying is only applicable to them, but that is who I'm speaking to because they are my ideal client. And yeah, no, I want to leave it there. I was about to over-explain and I don't want to do that. All right, we've got just a few minutes left. So I want to get to the last one because this is arguably the most important one. And I want to make sure we have time for it. And again, thank you to everyone watching live. I see a bunch of folks here. And feel free to drop comments or questions in the Q&A if you've got them. Let's do this last one first. Okay, hold on. All right, last point about this. If making money feels hard in your business, less time equals more money. This was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn in my business because I grew up being taught the harder you worked, the more successful you'd be, the more you'd get ahead, that hard work was really important. Now, I'm not suggesting that you can just go slack off. You definitely have to do some hard work. You definitely have to show up. But this goes back to the first point about keeping things simple. But at some point, you will hit a point where more work does not actually bring in more money or more profits. And this is because such a small percentage of the actions we take, the work we do, the tasks we do, the time we put in, actually result in the greatest amount of our efforts, of our value add. I have seen this be the case time and time again in my business. When I have been at my craziest, working insane hours, I am usually not creating that much more revenue or sales or action or progress in my business. In fact, there was a time a few months ago where it was kind of like, it was right at the beginning of the COVID-19 stuff, or maybe like a few weeks in. And I got really overwhelmed because I said, how am I going to get everything done? There's no way. My son's home from school. Like, I just don't know how I can manage all this. And then I sat there and I said, what if I just didn't do anything in my business for the next week? Like, what would happen? What if I just didn't do anything? I didn't do a single thing and just took the week off. I'd be no worse than I am right now, but I would have a week off to where maybe I wouldn't feel burnt out. Maybe I wouldn't feel exhausted. Maybe I would have some space for my business. And again, the worst thing that would happen is that I just wouldn't be any further along than I am right now. Maybe I wouldn't make a single dime that week, but I wouldn't be any worse off. I just wouldn't be any better off in theory, financially. And so I did. I didn't quite take a full week, but I did. And what I found was that it didn't really, doing nothing in my business for that 1 week didn't really change much. It didn't really affect my revenues. Now, I didn't have like a banner week, but the business didn't tank. It didn't completely fall apart either. And so it was an important lesson, one, that time off matters, but two, that more time being put into your business does not necessarily create more revenues. And so I think this is a really important lesson for everyone to remember, because too often we're burning ourselves out. We're burning ourselves out thinking, I just have to work a little bit harder. I just have to work a little bit longer, because if I don't, my business won't be successful. I won't be able to pay the bills. I won't make money. And that's not the case. Figure out what it is in your business that actually moves your business forward, and put your time and energy into those things, and say, screw it to the rest. Get a VA to do it. Get someone on your team to do it, or just don't do it at all. Maybe you don't need to do it at all. But this is such a critical lesson here. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Let me pull this off for a second. Here is the thing. I am rolling out on Wednesday, 2 days from now, my brand new program. I am so flippin' excited about this, because this is a way for you to be able to work with me, for us to be able to work together, for me to help you build a financially fit business without having to pay huge coaching fees. Okay, this is a way for me to get you guidance and resources and support and accountability when it comes to the money stuff in your business at a no-brainer price. But here's the thing. In order to find out about this, you've got to be on my mailing list, my email list, okay? Now, I am offering, for every single person who joins the wait list, I am offering you a super special treat, whether or not you join my new program. So there is no reason not to be on my email list right now. There's no reason not to sign up for the wait list. And you can do that by going to megkwheeler.com/action. I will be so I'm launching the new program on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is the last day to join the wait list. Well, actually, today is the last day to join the wait list, because tomorrow I will be sending that treat to every single person on the wait list. Again, regardless of whether or not you join the new program, I'm sending you the treat before I even tell you about the program, which is crazy. Like, no marketer would ever tell you to do that. That's such a bad idea from a marketing perspective, but I don't care. I'm not doing it for marketing reasons. I'm doing it because I want to give you something that's going to help you move your business forward. And yeah, I just want to do that. I want to give you something. So you can grab that treat by going to megkwheeler.com/action. Again, I'm sending that out tomorrow to everyone on the wait list. Wednesday, you will get the details of the brand new program. No pressure, but you will get that if you are on the wait list. And Julie says, thank you. You're welcome, Julie. And by the way, you can sign up for that waitlist by going to megkwheeler.com/action. And one question here. Earlier, you said you had another talk about doing social media. Where can I find that in the group? So this wasn't a talk. Let me link this for you. This was, hold on. I will find it for you. Let me drop it here. It was literally, I don't even think it was 5 minutes. I could be wrong though. It was literally an overview of, now I use Planoly for my social media. So it was an overview of how I use Planoly and how I set up my social media for the month. But even if you don't use Planoly, I think it can still be helpful. You would just want to do it in your own social media calendar tool. So let me pull this up here. Hold on. I can't figure out how to link the post because I'm just not that smart. So I'm going to drop the actual video in here. And hopefully you see that in a second when I drop that in. It's like a really long Loom link, but it's in there. Because social media, I'll be honest, is one of those things that it doesn't come naturally to me. And I definitely had a tendency to overcomplicate it. So And this has been many, 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 many iterations of figuring out what the perfect balance is of content and posting and who does it and how involved I am. And how much do we need to do without doing too much? And so we're now at the point where, so I have a content manager who does, well, I don't currently, I'm actually hiring my new content manager, but when I did have community manager, pardon me, community manager. When I did have a community manager, she was doing all the posts in my Facebook group for me. I don't currently have one right now. When I have a new community manager, that person will do all the posts in my Facebook group for me. But I actually do all of my own social media posts on my Instagram right now. I've had people before do social media for me, and it's fine. But what I found is the cost for them to do it doesn't end up being worth it for me personally, because I can kind of bang through it pretty quickly now that I have this system. So that's the link that I just dropped in there for you. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. So again, don't forget to sign up on the wait list for my brand new program. You can do that by going to megkwheeler.com/action. And everyone on the wait list by, let's just say tonight, is going to get a treat from me tomorrow morning, whether or not you sign up for the new program. All right, hope everybody's having a safe and healthy Memorial Day. I hope you are maybe getting to spend some time with family in socially distant, safe ways. And I'll be back here on Wednesday in the Badass Moneymakers group for our weekly Q&A, but you've got to be in the group. I'm going to drop the link. So if you are not a member of the Badass Moneymakers free Facebook group, definitely join that now so that you can get access to our weekly Q&A session. So, all right, everyone, I'll see you then. Bye.